It's stunning in a unique way. I gotta be honest, I've never seen anything quite like this.
Welcome back everyone to another episode of Marketers React. We're Level Up Video, and this is the show where we take a look at good, bad, and great marketing videos to have a laugh and teach you a few things along the way. And so today, in celebration of sports coming back, Nike put out this really cool ad called "You Can't Stop Us," and I thought the editing in it was really interesting. So I kind of wanted to take a look and get your thoughts on it.
I'm excited. I haven't seen it and I can't wait.
Cool. All right, well, let's take a look.
And no matter how bad it gets, we will always come back stronger.
Very clever editing. That's what I like most about it, is how it seamlessly blends like different moments in games. I don't know how they did that. That must have taken a long time to find those right clips and trying to figure out how you match them up. And some of those were obviously shot to match a particular match or whatever, if that makes sense.
But very few.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there was some, like when the guy breaks the golf club and the baseball bat, that was just two different things that they managed to sync up pretty well. And it was fun. It was kind of cool how they synced two unrelated sports at times. Like there was like, jumping off for the swimming, like how it starts, the swimming and the running kind of begin different ways. But I think it's a cool message, obviously in the middle of the pandemic that we're in, that, they show moments of getting down, like, oh, we're hurt, you might fall down, but we're getting back up, we're figuring out a way to do it, like they're showing playing tennis indoors and stuff like that. I don't know, I think it's a clever message that is obviously resonating with a lot of people. I mean, this video has 42 million views on it.
Good Lord.
Yeah, a lot of views.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that is really clever. And, the funny thing that I can't help thinking, from a video making standpoint, is how much time they spent reviewing footage to sync it up like that. I mean, I'm sure that there were tons of lower skilled editors reviewing. I mean, making sure that they have the footage exactly placed perfectly. And frankly, this is probably an opportunity where Major League Sports, you might not be able to do this with anything else, because what other thing do they have this much high quality footage that they can zoom in, they can adapt the frame to perfectly align? I mean, this might be something that you could only do for professional sports. I mean, we're not even talking about one league.
That's true. It's there's skateboarding, there's surfing.
It's stunning in a unique way.
Totally, yeah.
It took extra brain power for me to figure out what was going on in every single clip, because some of them I'm like, what? Oh, okay. Or it's really fast paced. And then it kind of, I gotta be honest, I've never seen anything quite like this.
And I like what you're saying too about how much footage, like this is really one of the few industries that can do something like this, because there is so much footage of all these different things, I mean, like you can tell in some of these shots that it's like one shot is a little bit more blurry than another, and that's because they had to zoom in so far just to get it to match.
Right.
But I mean, nobody's paying attention to that. They're just in awe of, wow, I can't believe they managed to match it up like that. Like clearly, that girl was sprinting next to a rugby player. It's she's not carrying a thing or whatever, but it's...
At a certain point, I was trying to look at both, but I had to look at one. I mean, I had to like lean back because it's a lot of information. And of course, your average person watching this commercial is not trying to pick up every single detail of every single thing. But if you are, that was interesting. Well, so let me ask you, do you think any of that was filmed new, or was it all stored footage?
I think some of it was. This beginning shot almost looks like it was.
Yeah. I was thinking these two girls, actually.
Wheelchair, yeah.
And what I noticed was how crisp that footage is.
Right.
And the rest of this, that looks very crisp, but the rest of it is clearly not. Like you said, you can tell it's high quality footage that's been zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe
that one, yeah, maybe the skateboarder girl, like these two. But like you said,
that definitely was.
Yeah. As it goes on, though, it's very obvious that it's like in the middle of a game. Like nobody's gonna, hey, all right, do a skateboard trick and fall on your face. Like they're not gonna tell anybody to do that.
I don't know. Like the soccer one, it looks like it may have been. Again, I'm looking at I'm looking at the stunning visual crispness. I mean, I don't know if this is some famous soccer player, but this very well could be.
That's true. The muddy one, yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
I know a couple of the women's players, but I don't recognize her. So it could be
USA.
It could be a stage thing. It might not be.
I'm thinking I'm thinking her head is not. I'm thinking the body is golf.
Yeah.
Unless this is a famous golfer. This is a famous baseball player, right? For the race.
Sure it is.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if the golf club was staged. These stadiums, that'd be easy enough to get.
I think the subtext of all this is that like we all play different sports, but we're all similar in some way. Because it's like baseball and soccer, the skills don't translate, but you're doing the same kind of motions. We're all together, especially like the linking the arms, the kneeling, arm in arm, celebrating, like.
I mean, they even say in the narration, no one's in it alone. And like, that's true, especially with sports, there's all these different support people, from coaches to trainers to people on the day of the event, yeah, really neat idea. And it's a really neat way that they showed it, I mean, they could have told you and not showed you, and I do not think it would have been as powerful.
Because I think this video has layers to it, right? So we watched, I mean, as we're talking over this, we were watching it 5, 6, 7, 8 times now. But I think immediately you're in awe of like how they managed to edit it, right? Like it's the visuals, like, wow, that's so cool that they synced this up. But then like you watch it again and you're like, oh, there's like subtext to this that like I was just saying about how we're all in this together. We're all different but similar. And obviously we're all looking for some hope in this pandemic. It sucks for everybody. And as sports are coming back, something to look forward to, it's a great message, I think, to put out there. Like, you can't stop us. And the other thing too, I'm wondering is how much of the video had to be manipulated to sync up with the other video, if that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm sure you can't let me just put them side by side and it'll just happen perfectly. Like, I'm sure they had to manipulate it a little bit.
That is really the charm of commercials like this, and watching these multi-million-dollar commercials they are put together in a way that they are made to look simple when in reality they are anything but. And here you are talking about these fancy behind-the-scenes techniques that your average editor is going to have a hard time doing. Here's a weird question to think about. So not everyone in here, possibly not everyone, is a name brand noteworthy person, but there are quite a few well-known athletes.
For sure.
Do you think Nike has to get some sort of writ of release or statement or thumbs up from each of these people they're including in this video?
It's a great question. I don't know. I'm wondering if when you are sponsored by Nike, I wonder if when you sign a contract, it's like, we're allowed to, in exchange for us paying you, you get to let us use your image for umpteen different things.
That makes sense.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just a guess.
So you think that each one of these name brand people is sponsored by Nike, and that is very possible, by the way. When you have the kind of budget Nike does, only Nike could do that. So if you are a small business and you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I can get, LeBron James to sponsor. No, that's probably not going to happen.
Because like very cleverly too, I'm not sure if, again, this is something else, the more you focus, every shot, there's a little Nike logo. Yeah, there's a Nike swoosh. There's Nike swooshes on their jerseys.
Oh, look at you. You're right. Okay, so it does look like what you were saying, that most of these people, if not all of them, are Nike sponsored.
Nike, yep.
Wow.
So either that, I mean, some of these are obviously like home movies. I'm sure they're like, hey, we'll pay you $100 if we can use your iPhone video or whatever. But
so can we talk about this for a sec? Because I hear this all the time from people, and it seems to be people who have larger companies and larger marketing efforts, but less experience in the video production field, is they believe, oh, well, down the street, I know this famous guy, let's get him in the video. I mean, we were working on one a couple of years ago, and the thought was Bill Murray, who's a local celebrity in Charleston, and Tom Cruise, and I was thinking, how do I nicely say there's not a chance in hell Tom Cruise is going to be in your small ad? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen.
No. Yeah, you either have to be friends with them or give them a bunch of money. Like, that's the only two options.
Yeah.
Or it's a trade. Like, if you're doing an ad that could potentially get in front of a bunch of people, then they can promote their movie or whatever their project is. But that is slim. Not everybody has an audience that they can make that trade.
So let's pretend that you do have something that you want to incorporate LeBron James, but there's nowhere near your budget to do that. What would you recommend for someone like that?
Pick somebody else? I mean, there's no way. There's just forget about it.
So
Sorry.
instead of picking LeBron James, you could pick someone who's maybe closer to your business's level of notoriety. So instead of trying to think of this global known figure, maybe think about a very local figure. Think about like literally your area, your city. If you're promoting something for Little League, who is a well-known character among Little League coaches that could be somebody among your community? I feel like we're so used to seeing these high production things, we have no idea how much real time, effort, and money goes into putting them together. And like you said, it's been hundreds of millions of Nike budget behind the scenes that allows this video to be made, that allow all the rights to happen.
Yep.
And I think it's more effective that you get someone that fits what you're trying to do well, rather than to get everybody in the world. Because of course it would be great to get LeBron James to sponsor all these small things. Is that what your business really needs? Do you really need millions of customers all over the world? And are you likely to be able to help them anyways? Probably not. But if you had some local celebrity, local person that you could engage, it's much more likely, A, that they'd even be available and interested, B, that you could afford them, and C, that you could get the results that you were actually hoping to get.
There's a certain virality to this video too, because I saw so many people tweeting about this, posting it on Facebook, talking about how cool it is. That's a joke that you've often told me, let's just make it go viral. We'll tell one person, they'll tell another person, and it doesn't quite work like that.
It doesn't work like that at all.
Yeah.
And if any video producer is promising you a viral video, they are lying unless the budget is in the hundreds of thousands. If the budget's in the hundreds of thousands or millions, it's possible. Otherwise, your likeliness of making a viral video are very slim, very slim. So, I mean, that's important to put this in perspective, how huge Nike is, and how an example like this would have to be scaled back dramatically. I'm not saying it can't be done, but just keep in mind, we are used to such a high production value for television, movies, the ads you see on YouTube. It's not always a one-to-one that you can make something exactly like this. That being said, I'm pretty sure if you were under the gun, I bet you could make something like this.
I would need a team of people pulling clips, though.
Yeah, you sure would.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
You would need a ton of assistance, and like you said, high quality footage, lots of it, lots to scroll through, lots to comb through. But sometimes when you put this much effort behind a simple concept like this, the result is just beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. There's a simple elegance to this video. So if you guys have if you have clips you want us to check out, definitely leave a comment. We're happy to do that. And yeah, thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you on the next one.